how well can we be able to have coordination with the sector. To talk about the government, the private sector, how do we bring everyone, the donor world, so that we can be able to have better coordination. So allow me to now go into the next important session that we have. I know you may have some questions in the facility, and you will have time to ask those questions. And you have an opportunity right now through this group discussion. If you are somewhere with a partner that you know what they do, you work with them, just go to another group that you know that you don't know them, so that you can be able to get maximum benefit from this session.
One of the examples that we had at our table is the use of, for example, media and using it as a form of dissemination. So with CGAP together with Media E, we have a project which is called Maisha Makutano. So specifically it's looking at how we can be able to work with women entrepreneurs, how they can be able to get access to financial products. So for example, some of them are largely within chamas, and how can we be able to nudge them to get into circles and then maybe eventually into banks. So the project is just talking about social issues within Kenya and maybe also bringing in the aspect of the AgTechs and the importance of where they can be able to get finance so that eventually this information gets to the farmers.
The key question that keeps coming is access to data and how we have a unified area to get information for the market. I think that's the one thing that is agreed upon across the board. The other thing I'd like to highlight is when we look at the different bodies within the public sector, there's a lot of information that we have. There are a lot of institutions actually working for us. So you have ASSET, the Association of Startups and SMEs.
And I'm also trying to wrap my head around everything that's been discussed today. And I think one thing that stood out for me, or a few key points, have been the need to speak a unified language. Something that I keep hearing in different and in every table is being trying to understand who are we talking to, what are we talking about, what are we designing for? Because if we don't design with the end in mind or the end in mind, then we end up just like talking over each other. And this has been something that translates into designing a program that is addressing the wrong issue or the wrong target audience, or that is not inclusive, right? Or that is completely disregarding an environmental aspect or the climate aspect, or that is completely disregarding the dynamic. We had some association of farmers in the room, we had LPs and DFIs in the room, so there's a lot of layers that we are trying to connect in this scarce hour.
We deal a lot with all kinds of data sets. Primarily FAO is more or less looking at having data as a free public good. But again, that being available is making sure that that data is accurate and is trustworthy. And I think that we've done with authority. The other thing is making sure that we have some sort of interoperability of this data. So instead of keeping that data in silos, it's better that we have it interoperable. So the best thing that we can do in this project also is look at the methodology of having a standard where we are able to have some sort of APIs which can be able to link to that. And going further to what my colleague said, is that when you're looking at sustainability, is creating demand for that data. So once you close your data set, once you have done your project, and then you close the book, that technically means that that sustainability is gone.
So we curate roundtables, for example, with debt investors because we invest equity, but we recognize our startups can't succeed with only equity. They need debt for working capital to be able to bridge payment cycles. They need grants to actually test higher risk things. And so we do a lot of those partnerships, and even for any funder, for any equity investor, I'll say, we can only succeed if other investors come in after us and actually give us that exit. So for us, it's all about those partnerships and how do we actually have that capital continuum. Delta 40 tends to come in earlier than other investors, where we'll take a risk where others won't, but then we need to really understand what the investors looking for so they can invest once we're able to help our startup grow.